Hey guys, it's me again, Eric here at Mountaintop 9, and in this video I want to talk about the Tony Martin solo album, Thorns. It came out at the beginning of 2022, and for me, I'd say this album is a disappointment, but not vocally. Vocally, Tony Martin still has some impressive chops. He still sounds really, really good. He's hitting some really nice high notes with sustain. He can still carry a tune with the best of them. So vocally, I really like the album. But sadly, a lot of the music, as far as the guitar riffing, the guitar sound, I mean, that's the biggest thing right there. I just do not care for the guitar on this album. For the most part, 90% of the guitar stuff on here I could do without. You know, the opening cut is a good example of that, As the World Burns. Now vocally, Tony Martin sounds very impressive on this one. He is filled with energy and vitality. I love the notes that he's hitting on that chorus. It sounds great, man. But the guitars on this song, there's a lot of chugga Pantera bullshit, just the way it sounds. That doesn't mix well with Tony Martin. Tony Martin is a classic heavy metal singer. He's a classic hard rock singer. He just has a great golden voice with such a nice range and such a knack for melody. It just doesn't go well with the fucking Neanderthal chugga shit. So it's just a shame that you have that mixed in with Tony Martin's great vocals, because he still puts on such a great show over top of that. And it would also be one thing if this guitar riffing had a good sound to it, like a good tone. It just sounds too overly processed and ugly and too distorted. It doesn't have a rich, heavy sound to it. Instead, it's just very digitized sounding. I just don't like the guitar tone on here, and you know, the Pantera type stuff. It just doesn't mix well with Tony Martin, and that's very evident on As the World Burns. Now when you get to the next song, Black Widow Angel, this one has a groove to it. You know, it has a groovy type guitar riff and everything, and I still don't like the tone or anything, but the riff doesn't bother me as much. It kind of has a little bit of that Zakk Wylde feel to it. You know, you got some pinched harmonics and whatnot. So you can tell, it really seems to me like the guitar player is heavily influenced by Dimebag and Zakk Wylde. You just get that sense in this type of playing. But anyway, Black Widow Angel, it's a catchy enough song. I love the vocal melody from Tony Martin. He sounds really good on here, and the chorus is kind of catchy. It's kind of a rockin' song. It's nothing great, but it's definitely a good track on the album. Now, there's a song on here called Book of Shadows. This is one where Tony Martin wrote a lot of the stuff with the guitar player for this album, Scott McClellan, all right? He met this guy online, and then this guy wrote a huge chunk of the music for this album. But I believe Book of Shadows is a tune that was just written by Tony Martin. And this track's okay, but it's a little bit overly operatic, a little bit overdone as far as the choir stuff that's going on in the background, but it's okay for what it is. Really, when it comes down to it, there are 3 songs in a row on this album, in the middle of the album, and the songs are Damned by You, No Shame at All, and Nowhere to Fly. Those 3 songs are the best songs, because Damned by You just has a good hard rock feel to it. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of the guitar tone on this album, and a lot of the Pantera and chugga stuff, but luckily on Damned by You, you don't have a lot of the Pantera-isms and whatnot, okay? And you've got Tony Martin delivering some really bluesy vocal lines, and then the chorus is nice and catchy, the verses are catchy. Damned by You is really a highlight of this album, so I really like that tune a lot, and it's got a nice lead break on it. Like I said, most of the guitar stuff on this album I'm not a fan of, but I do like how on this tune, Damned by You, Scott McClellan, you know, he puts out this real nice classy lead section. You know, it reminds me of the stuff that Tony Martin would do with Black Sabbath. You know, when there'd be a nice lead break and Tony Iommi would play a really cool solo, but the rhythm guitar would drop out underneath. You know, you just have the bass going and the drums, and Tony Iommi would deliver a really classy solo. Well, in Damned by You, the same thing kind of happens. There's a solo section where it's just the lead guitar, and Scott McClellan puts in a nice little solo that really rounds out the song. It's good, and it fits the song really nice, so I like that. Damned by You, like I said, a highlight on the album. And then the next song, No Shame at All, it's just another hard rockin' type song. But man, during the chorus, he's really hitting some nice, crisp, high notes, just beautiful stuff. Like I said, he still has very impressive chops all these years later after his stint with Black Sabbath. Wouldn't it be so nice to see him get back together with Iommi and the two of them just churn out an album filled with classy metal? But anyway, No Shame at All. Great chorus. Just love the way he hits those notes and hits them with sustain on this song. And then the next song, Nowhere to Fly, it's a really moody song. It has low-key parts, but then it explodes with energy when it comes to the chorus time. Just a very mournful song, and Tony Martin just sounds so damn emotional during the chorus sections. It really packs a wallop. Now, as far as the worst song on this album, I would say it has to be, without a doubt, This Is Your Damnation. That song is towards the end of the album, and I'll tell you what, it's just a garbage track. They should have left it right off of this album. The vocals on it, you don't get to hear great Tony Martin vocals on this track, my friends. It's just spoken word stuff with stupid lyrics, and the guitar has this shuffling feel to it. It's a clean guitar, and to say it sounds like, you know, country would be an insult to good country music. It just sounds like shit. This song is not good, and This Is Your Damnation, it shouldn't have been on the album. It's the one spot on the album where I'm like, that's just an awful track. But all in all, to sum up how I feel about Thorns as a whole, I don't like a lot of the Pantera type, you know, feel that this guitar player is trying to meld in there with Tony Martin's voice. I just feel like it takes away. All right, I feel like you need some good classic heavy metal style playing, or good hard rock type feel, like you get on Damned by You and No Shame at All. You know, that fits Tony Martin's voice a little bit better. And it was funny, when I was listening to this album, one of the things that made me want to do is it made me want to just go back and put on an album like Cross Purposes and throw on Eyewitness and just hear some classic Tony Iommi guitar playing with Tony Martin's voice, just that perfect melding of enormous talent. You know, it just made me want to reminisce and just go back and listen to that, or throw on Headless Cross and listen to Nightwing and all that good stuff. Sabbath Stones on Tear, you know, all the classic stuff. Feels Good to Me, just all the great stuff that Tony Martin did with Black Sabbath. That's what listening to Thorns made me want to do. I was listening to Thorns and I was like, yeah, it's pretty good, and hey, still sounds great, but it made me want to go back and listen to the classic, you know, top to bottom masterpieces that Tony Martin churned out with Sabbath. You know, all those great albums, great tracks, Anno Mundi, you know, all of that stuff. So that's kind of what it did to me. It sent me on a rabbit hole where I'm like, oh man, now for the next 3 days, all I'm going to listen to is Tony Martin, Black Sabbath. You know, I got to stop whatever it is I'm listening to at the time, whether it be Iron Maiden or Jethro Tull or Rush or whatever I'm listening to at the time, you know, because I'll get on these tangents where I'm just listening to one band constantly. You know, earlier in the year, I listened to Blue Oyster Cult for like 2 months straight. But, you know, that's what happened when I was listening to Thorns. I was like, oh man, now I gotta go and I gotta listen to a lot of Tony Martin Sabbath, because it's been a few months since I, you know, listened to that shit over and over. And that's what it did. It filled me with nostalgia just hearing Tony Martin's awesome voice on this album. So yeah, guys, that's what I think about Thorns. It's got a few good songs. The guitar playing I'm not a big fan of, but the vocals sound great. So I'm kind of all over the place with my emotions regarding the album. You know, I don't want to bash it because there are some really good elements on it, but as you can tell from my review, there's stuff that I don't like about it, and then there's stuff that I just love, like the singing, for instance, and I'm so glad that he still sounds as awesome as he does. But anyway, guys, down in the comment section, let me know your favorite songs. I already told you what my favorite songs on the album are, and guess what, guys? I'll be seeing you again really, really soon.